Alright, so I'm here with a video on Dolph Ziggler. When will he get his push? Will he get a push or not? I very much hope he will eventually get a push. This was by the way, a requested video topic by somebody. Again, if you have a requested video topic, don't hesitate to leave the requested video topic at my Twitter at WWE Heel Punk, or you could comment it on YouTube in the comments below or whatever. So Dolph Ziggler, I mean, he's a very talented guy. I think he's got a lot of wrestling ability. Especially at selling moves. He could really sell a move good. He's really flexible too. Like if you watch Jericho, when they had their little feud there, whenever Jericho puts Ziggler in the walls, so Jericho, like he stretches Ziggler back like so fucking far, it's ridiculous. Like if you look at the pictures of him getting put in the walls of Jericho, it's like ridiculous how he goes like twice as far back as anybody else, and it actually looks fucking real. Something that WWE lacks, actually something that looks real. But I mean, Ziggler, he's a very talented guy. I think he's a talented guy. The one thing he probably would have to work on is his mic skills. I mean, he hasn't gotten a lot of time on the mic, and he hasn't really been put in a good situation. I mean, he hasn't, part of succeeding is really having a good gimmick. You have to have a good gimmick really helps to succeed. Like, if you're like Punk, though, where you're just so great as like just a natural heel, like he didn't really have a gimmick as a heel. He was just an arrogant, cocky heel, and he cut some really great promos. But some people need like a standout gimmick to succeed. Like a lot of people will basically succeed and get popular on their gimmicks alone. Like, Bad News Barrett, I'm not saying these guys aren't good, but it very much helped to have a good gimmick. Like Barrett, Bray Wyatt, So I think Ziggler really needs some kind of gimmick to get him over, truly over. I mean, he's already very popular, but for him to become more popular, I think he just needs some sort of gimmick to make him stand out. Because right now he's just a normal guy. Even when he was champion and in a upcoming star, he never really had a standout gimmick. He was just a generic babyface or a generic heel, whatever. And I think he was better as a heel. Most people are better as a heel. I mean, that's pretty much the facts. That's my opinion. Most people cut better promos as heels. Most people I find being heels. When they ask, interviews, you're like, oh, would you rather be a heel or a face? Most people say heel. So when you take that, Ziggler, I mean, his Twitter name's Heel Ziggler, so he probably likes being a heel more than being a face. So, I think that the face turn was really when he started going downhill, or when he lost the championship. That's when he started going downhill, just became a jobber, lost the belt just out of nowhere. And it pretty much went downhill all from there. I mean, he hasn't really cut any... Again, they haven't given him any promo time, really, though. Like, all he does is go out there and wrestle, which is fine because he's a good wrestler, but he should, be given some more promo time and, just work on his promo, whatever. He's got to get some better promos if he wants to become, like, a really top star. Like, he could still be a high on the card with just wrestling, because you could even give him Ric Flair. I mean, that's what I was saying, give him Ric Flair. Like, that would be perfect. Give him Ric Flair, have him win a few matches here, build him back up to the prominence he once was, or at least, as champion he was. Build him up, have him win a few matches, have him, slowly get into the swing of things, have him beat Rollins, have him beat, just some top stars or whatever. And then fucking put Ric Flair on him. I proposed the idea, I believe, before, like, have a tournament where Ric Flair's like, hey, whoever wins the tournament or whoever wins this match, I will be their manager. Have Ziggler win the big match or a big tournament. Ric Flair's his manager, and then they go from there. Ziggler, excels from there. Will he ever get a push, though? He deserves one. And you could tell that he's not as enthusiastic, I don't think, as he was when he was, like, Money in the Bank, World Heavyweight champion. I don't think he's as enthusiastic because he's one of those guys that is very outspoken or somewhat outspoken. And he's not one of those guys who's just going to show up no matter what. I think he's, just mad that he's not given a spot, that he's been turned into a jobber like this. I think he's mad, and I don't think he's wrestling to the best of his ability because he's not as enthusiastic about his spot in the company. But will he ever get a push? Will he ever get pushed again and become champion or become the top guy? Quite frankly, I don't think so. Because the time is running out. I've said this before too. Like they wait so long to push guys now. Like back in 2002, Lesnar was becoming champion in his 20s, and now he's like in his fucking prime right now. So they're waiting too long to push guys. Like Ziggler was fucking Spirit Squad or whatever the fuck that was, and cheerleader in 06, I believe, or 05 about, whatever, mid 2000s, and then they fucking don't give him a main event spot until what, 2012. They wait so long. Most guys are actually, getting their push, or a lot of guys are getting their push, like, literally at the end of their careers. Like, look at Punk. He's been a wrestler for fucking ever, for a long ass time, and he didn't get his fucking, main event push until he was fucking, the last few years of his career. So, I mean, that's a problem. Like, they don't have a lot of time to fucking shine. You don't have a lot of time to, fucking wrestle. Because most of your career, once you get a top spot, is already over. So, I mean, there's not a lot of time for Ziggler to get a push. And, will they push him? I think that if the fans come out and start cheering him like they did Bryan, that they will push they will push him. But if, everything keeps going along as normal, I don't think he's going to get a push. Mainly because he's not the typical guy that they look for, the prototypical guy in WWE they look for. They usually look for, big guy, bodybuilder like Roman Reigns, of course. Only does 4 moves, but he gets pushed because he's fucking strong or whatever, steroids, whatever. They look for that, like Roman Reigns, Sheamus, even Orton a little bit. Orton, I think he's pretty tall. He's got a good physique and everything. Then you look like a guy like Ziggler or Daniel Bryan or CM Punk. Fucking, long beard, fucking short, not really that strong, athletic, but they take forever to get pushed because, they're not the prototypical WWE guy that they're looking for. And Ziggler has 2 concussions, has gotten 2 concussions over the past, 2 years. So, that could pose a problem, but in my opinion, I don't think it could. Because with all the, technology they have and all the health, safety, all the advanced technology and shit, I don't think it would pose a problem at all. I heard Bully Ray Dudley say, oh yeah, I've gotten 6 concussions over the years and he's still wrestling. So, I mean, I don't think that it's going to pose a problem for Ziggler. Could it? Yeah. But look at Cena. Look at how many injuries he's gotten over the past, 6 years or whatever, 7 years. He's gotten a couple of major injuries, and he's still the face of the company. I mean, everybody's going to get hurt if you're in the company for a long, most people at least are going to get at least some major injury. I mean, Bryan's got one. Look at all the top guys. Bryan, major injury. Roman Reigns, major injury. Sheamus had a major injury. Bad News Barrett got he's not really a top guy, but he had a major injury. Stone Cold Steve Austin, neck. I mean, just all the top guys, sooner or later, you're going to get some. And Ziggler hasn't even had a major injury. I mean, the concussion was, I don't consider that a major injury. He was only out for a month. I'm trying to think of top guys, right? It's hard to think and talk at the same time. But, so I don't think that's going to pose a risk. And I think there's a lot of fear-mongering over concussions, too. Like, oh, they're the biggest deal in the world. Like, if you get proper healing and proper treating, I think you're going to be okay. But I think the real threat is when you don't, you get a concussion and then you don't get, proper treating or whatever. I think that's when the problem, is. Like, if you get a concussion and you don't get it checked and you just keep wrestling, I think that's when the real problem is. So hopefully Ziggler will get his push because I am a Ziggler fan, but I do not, if everything keeps going, if I had to put money on it, I do not think Ziggler is going to get a push to become, a top spot in the company. I hope it happens, but I don't think it would. I don't think it will. Is it possible? Yes, I think it's very possible. He's become IC champion, which is a little bit of a step up from being a jobber. He's been featured in a couple, somewhat important matches, I guess. But hopefully he'll get his push. Hopefully, we'll see him in a top spot sometime. But knowing this company, I don't think he will, unfortunately. So there you go, people. There's my thoughts on, a possible Dolph Ziggler push.